What is up, guys? We are live. In case you're keeping track of time, we are slightly late today. The operating room is, of course, crazy when they know I have to go live with you guys. It's ridiculous how they plan cases when I know I'm supposed to be on here with you guys on YouTube. But we've moved past that now. We are on here. We are live. I'll give you guys a second to get on here. If you don't know, tonight we are talking about research and really the truth about undergrad and pre-med research and how it affects you getting to medical school. So that's going to be tonight's topic. I'm glad you guys have been waiting for this topic. You guys sent me enough questions on it, so I thought we should address it. um, yeah, so Felix, go ahead and throw a question about research, since that's what we're talking about. And Killer Meister, yeah, I saw you just purchased my 5 steps of studying less and getting better grades, and also my MCAT course. Hope you're liking it so far. Hi, guys. Hello, everybody. Hello. I'll give everybody a second to find us and hop on here. So I'll write down your question, Major Yui. Whoa, as we lose the whole camera there. So now we know I got to be gentle with this camera today. All right, so how much does publications and abstracts matter? Okay. Hello, guys. Hello. So I think, Felix, I think you asked this question on Instagram. Was that the same? Was that you? Okay. All right. So, we are ready. We are ready. I'm sorry. um. So, all right. Research. The truth about undergrad and pre-med research. If you guys want to skip to the synopsis of this, undergrad research sucks. Right? We all hate it. Everybody hates their bench research. I know you guys out there, right? You hate cleaning the rat cages. You hate cleaning the fish. You hate sorting the cell lines. We all hate it, right? Give me a thumbs up right now like this if you hate your undergrad research, if you think it's like the absolute pits. If that's you, then you're like me. I hate it. I bounced around from research project to research project because I hated it so much. It was awful. It was terrible. I was bored. I felt like an obligation and not like something that was fun. But I'm older and I'm wiser now, and so I'm going to talk to you guys from a wiser place about research. So, like I said, the very first thing I want to talk about is, you guys have heard me say this before if you've been on my channel. The most important thing you can ask yourself is, what is the purpose? The reason my courses are so effective, the reason my coaching is so effective, is because I boil down what the purpose of everything is, and then we figure out what's most useful to people. And so when we talk about research, to understand really how you can make the most of research and really what it's about, you have to ask yourself, what is the true purpose of your undergrad research? And I think a lot of students make the mistake that research is about the research and about like being this amazing mad scientist and creating crazy discoveries, and it really matters what the topic is you do. Like, oh, if I want to do plastic surgery, I need to do undergrad plastic surgery research, or I can't get into medical school. And none of that stuff matters, right? Because the whole purpose of doing research, truly, right, for all of us, is to get into medical school. That's why you do research. You want to go to medical school. Kasim, what is up? You made it on here. Casey made it on here. I got your text a minute ago. I haven't had a chance to get back to you. But yeah, I'm glad you found us. So the whole point of doing the research is you want to go to medical school. You want to look competitive for medical school. You want to round out your extracurricular activities. You want to look well-rounded. Well, let's take a step back and ask ourselves, what's the purpose, right, of the medical school application? And when we're trying to go to medical schools, what are we trying to achieve in our application? And the 2 words I use are distinct and distinguished. Double D, okay? When you apply to medical school, you want to look distinct and distinguished. Distinct means different from other people, right? Doing unconventional things that make you stand out from others. Uniqueness, you yourself, right? And then distinct, and then distinguished. Gosh, I must be tired. Can you guys tell I've been working all day? Distinguished means you did something special, right? So something that not only that is different, but also that makes you stand out above the crowd, even if you've got to shout out loud. That's a Goofy movie reference. But anyway, so distinct and distinguished. So with your research, your whole objective is to make yourself distinct and distinguished to medical schools. So how do we go about doing that? And I think the first question you want to ask yourself is, what is the importance of research to getting into medical school? And a lot of people hang their hats on this, like, oh, I have to have research. If I don't have research, I can't get anywhere. And the truth is, guys, that research is absolutely 100%, 1,000% not necessary to go to medical school. 1,000%. You do not have to have a single minute of research to go to medical school. It's a fact. If anybody tells you otherwise, they don't know what they're talking about. You do not need research to get into medical school. It is one of the few things that we talk about, kind of in the journal, things that people talk about for going to medical school, that you actually don't need. And Harpreet, it's the same thing for residency. Yes, it helps, but you actually don't need research to go to residency. For certain residencies that are research focused, then you do. That's a whole nother day to talk about that. But yes. But so for undergrad, the research is not required to go to medical school. It is absolutely not. So with that, right, there are other ways. What you really want to talk about is, and I talked about this before at my 6 domains of getting into medical school. There are 6 areas that I've boiled down, right? I take everything and simplify it. So I've simplified medical school admissions into 6 domains that people are assessing you on. So if you stand out in 6 domains, medical schools will accept you across the board. That's just the breakdown of it. So one of the domains is not research, it's actually scholarly potential. And a lot of people confuse the two, but scholarly potential just means that you're a scholar, right? So you're of the knowledge generating base, and you're like a scholar. You like to study and those types of things. And so ways you can show that is either through research, right? It's the easiest, most straightforward way. But the other ways to show that are through like things like tutoring, teaching, mentoring. Because what you're doing is you're creating new avenues for knowledge and dissemination of that knowledge. And so those are other ways to get around doing research if you don't have research. So if you don't have research, I would either teach, tutor, or mentor, because that's how you make up for that research. So I mentioned that I didn't like research, so I didn't do a whole lot of research, but I did a ton of teaching, tutoring, mentoring, and that works for me. I do the same thing for my students who aren't research oriented. I don't tell them go find research and suffer through it. I tell them to go do other things. Okay? So that's that. So the importance of research, it's not necessary for medical school. You don't have to do it. Go from there. Next up, the big question you guys ask is clinical versus basic science research. So if you guys don't know the difference between the two, clinical research means you're like in a hospital or you're in a lab, but you work with patients, you guys do patient studies and more human-focused studies. Whereas basic science research is more like you're at the bench, running gels, sorting cell cultures, right? Looking through the microscope. That's basic science research. And a lot of people say they don't like their basic science research, so they ask about if they can do clinical research, if it's the same, or if they need both, and those kind of things. And actually, one of you guys sent me a question on Instagram. I told you guys on Instagram today, submit your question, I'll make sure I answer them. And someone asked, they said they have extensive clinical research with multiple publications in peer-reviewed journals, but they're concerned that they don't have any bench research, and so they're going to start looking for a bench research project. And I would tell you guys that you don't need both, right? If you don't need any research, then you definitely don't need both. So if you have a lot of clinical research and it's strong, you've published, you've got, right, and when we talk about experiences for medical school, we want length and depth, right? That's the best way to do it, but you can do length or depth, but both is preferable. So if you've been in research for a couple years, that's the length, and you got a couple publications, that's the depth, right? Then you're good to go with just your clinical research. You don't need to have more in terms of bench research and all that kind of stuff. Just do your clinical research. You got multiple publications. Stop doing research and now focus on something else. Unless research is going to be the thing you're going to hang your hat on for medical school applications. If that's the case, then you want to keep that research going kind of continually throughout your journey to medical school. So that was that question. Another question that was similar to that was that there was a student who has publications. So my Instagram name, that's actually, so I randomly see you guys' comments when I look up here. My Instagram name is @DominatePremed. It's the same thing on Facebook, so it's @DominatePremed. You can find me on both of those. So another student asked, I have publications and research in political and social science, but nothing in the hard sciences. Is that sufficient for medical school? And it's like any activity, right? It doesn't have to be directly medically related. It's how you spin your experience to be medically related. So if you're doing political and social science research, right, politics and society and social things, it's all about people, right, and providing for people. And so what you can say is, I did this research on societies because I have an interest in how our society works as a whole to keep people healthy. And as a physician, I will advocate and be a political advocate. I'll be a social advocate. I will go to Washington and lobby on behalf of physicians and patients, and you can spin it that way. but it is showing that you are a scholar, whether it's in science or not in science. So it doesn't matter where your research is and what category it's in. It's just a matter of the fact that you did some research to show that you're scholarly. So that's that question. So how long do you need to do research, right? It's another question you guys ask all the time. How long do you need to do research? I talked about a second ago length and depth. So when you do activities, you have to have at least length or at least depth. The workaround to that, right? So length or depth can substitute for each other. So with research, people think they have to do research for 4 years. You don't. You could actually do 6 weeks or 8 weeks of research and have much better research experience than someone who worked for 4 years in their research lab, right? It's like with any experience, it's what you make of it. And so one of the ways, if you're a person who's not research oriented, but you feel the need to do research, the way to get around having to do a whole lot of research, but still having a nice, strong research background is to do a summer research project. So this is a program that's set up, right? You find maybe the NIH, Harvard, maybe it's your school, whatever it might be, but there's tons of summer programs around where you can go for the summer, live someplace, and do a scheduled set of research. I'm going to work 40 hours a week for 3 months, and that's going to be it. And then what's cool about these programs is it's designed to be a short period of time, and a lot of times to be approved to be a PI or an advisor, right, to accept a student in these programs, they have to lay out what their plan is for getting you to a nice research level by the end of the summer. And so therefore, when you get there, they're going to have a whole plan laid out to get you to the point where at the end of the summer, you have lots of stuff to talk about. You possibly have a poster, maybe even a publication, right, to talk about, and you're going to get a strong letter of recommendation from that PI. So those are great programs. And then the other thing, right, so they have you set up for all these things, but they may even have like a research symposium or a research conference at the end that gets you an automatic oral presentation or poster presentation, which is the same exact thing as a publication. So now you just came up, you spent 3 months, not only did you get strong research you can talk about, you got a publication, you got a presentation, you got a strong letter of recommendation. What else do you need? You've just hit all the boxes for what research should be, but you did it in 3 months. So that's totally reasonable. And I actually did 2 summer projects when I was an undergrad because I wasn't really into research, right? So by doing these programs, I was able to get the research requirements met, right, that I felt I wanted to have at the time and have some experience without having a whole lot of my time sucked up in research. So that's what I would say about that. The other thing I'll say is, so some of you guys love your research. That's fine. That's great. If you love your research, this applies to you too. But if you don't love your research, the important thing is to have the right mindset when you go into research. Research, for people who do hardcore research, so Casey's on here, and he's a hardcore researcher. He's a physician, and he's a hardcore researcher. And research is about struggle and frustration. It's like baseball, right? The best baseball players, they hit like 300. So that means they strike out, right? They get out more times than they get on base. And that's what research is about. It's a lot of trial and error, and mostly error, to get to that one right spot. And so I actually just had a friend who defended her dissertation, and she was super frustrated for years and years and years because she worked on a project for 18 months. And at the end of 18 months, none of it panned out, and she had to start from scratch in her research. And so that's just how research goes. Sometimes it can be frustrating. So it's important that you go into research with the right mindset, that it's about discovery. And when you're working on the fringe, you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have things that don't work. You're going to have dead ends. But it's about that exploration, okay? So with that being said, we want to talk about the mindset you need to have going into research. And the 3 things that I think that are important for your mindset going into research are the 3 things that you can control. And the 3 things that you can control in any situation, in every situation, but particularly in research, is your preparation, your attitude, and your work ethic. And I am an awful researcher. Terrible. I hate it, so therefore I am terrible. But for those of you guys who were on my webinar last month that we did on the medical school application, I showed one of my letters of recommendation from one of my research advisors. It was like flawless. It sounded like I was like this amazing researcher. But the only reason it was written that way is because I took care of the 3 things I could take care of. One was my preparation. So I made sure every single day I was over-prepared. So when I was given, to start out, this stupid task of just running the gel, I didn't even know what the project was. I'm just running the gel. Many of you will be assigned a menial task like that, and you'll just be like, okay, I'm going to run the gel. I'm just going to run the gel just to do it. And you don't have any of the insight to be able to really expand yourself beyond that and show off. And so what I did was I researched, right, took some time, Googled Western blots, running gels, trial and error, like all these things. So I had all these talking points to talk about gels. Additionally, I took the time and took a step back and I asked someone in the lab, hey, listen, I'm going to be running gels for a while, but I don't really know anything about the project. Not can you tell me, right, which is annoying to people, can you tell me about the project? I said, are there any articles, books, things you can direct me to so I can inform myself and educate myself on this project? That way I can be informed. And when you do that, you are showing them that you're willing to put in effort. You're also showing them that, hold on one second. You're also showing them that you are someone who wants to learn. So you're eager, right? You're excited for the opportunity and you're not here to slack off. And so it does a whole lot of things for you. And then on the third thing, right, the biggest thing is it gives you information that you can then use and parlay into having a bigger role in the project. So preparation. If you prepare for your research project, you will be successful. And a lot of you guys don't understand that. And you just go and you do all these mindless things thinking you're some robot drone who's just there to do manual labor. You're there to learn and to grow from the experience and to add to the lab. And you can only do that if you're prepared. The second thing you control, as I mentioned, is your attitude. So you guys see me, I have fun on this channel. I have fun everywhere I go. So even when I was at my research lab and I didn't like it, I always came with a smile on my face. I always came right with a good attitude. I wasn't complaining about things. I was bringing positivity. Like, oh man, it's so great to be here. Even though I hated it, you say that enough to yourself and you psych yourself into thinking you like it, but then you also create this enthusiasm around other people who want to be around you because you're this beacon of sunshine and positivity that's coming into the lab, right? So people want to have you around. They want to involve you more and all these types of things. So having that good positive attitude makes people want to have you around and it makes people like you. And when people like you, right? So what's the number one factor in getting a good letter of recommendation? Is it achievement? Is it smarts? Is it whatever? No. The science shows the number one thing in getting a solid letter of recommendation is that someone likes you. You want someone to like you. So if you can come with that positive attitude, it's going to make them like you more. So that's our goal and our perspective. I don't know why people keep coming on here and spamming these live broadcasts. It's really annoying because it fills up my screen and I can't see anything you guys are actually talking about. The real people are on here to learn. So anyway, but yeah, so if people like you, you're gonna get a good solid recommendation, and that's what you want. So it's about attitude. And Blaster Chris kind of asks a question off the offshoot of that is, I don't think people like me because I don't speak well and I have a stutter. Who cares about your stutter? Right? Tons of people have stutters. Tons of people look like they don't look great when they speak, right? Maybe they have extra saliva, maybe they have a dry mouth, maybe they, right? Whatever it might be. Maybe you're an unattractive person, whatever it might be. That's not what makes people like you. What makes people like you is your ability to contribute in a positive way to the environment. So if you have a stutter, that's fine. Don't let your stutter define your interactions with people. Have your stutter, but once you get your words out, make your words count. Right? Be calculated. Also work on your stutter to minimize the stutter. Work around your stutter. So write things down for people and point to it. Right? It seems silly, it seems stupid, but if it keeps you from having to stutter and feeling self-conscious about your stutter, write stuff down and point to it. Hey, I want to know more about this lab. Can you point me in the right direction? That's how you get around that, right? So creating that positive environment, no one's going to dislike you because you stutter. They'll dislike you if you have nothing to say once you stutter or if you're not confident about your stutter, okay? So that's attitude. The third thing is work ethic. So a lot of you guys are lazy. And I can say that as a bit broad statement because you guys are so tech heavy in your guys' young generation that you want everything served to you on a silver spoon. And the classic example is, I can't believe I'm still getting emails and comments from people asking me, hey, do you have any other information on the MCAT? Hey, what resources should I use for the MCAT? Hey, how should I study for the MCAT? Hey. And it like annoys me to no end that I get so many emails about tips for the MCAT. When it's like, if you just took 2 seconds and were thorough, right, you would go to my website and see that I have an amazing MCAT course that's super affordable for you guys. So why are you asking me if I know anything about the MCAT? Doesn't make any sense, right? Like, ooh, I love that tip about the MCAT. Do you have more? Well, sure I have more. I have a whole course. So that work ethic, right? That wanting to go work for the knowledge. So when you get into a lab, you can't just be like, okay, my time to work, I'm scheduled to work 4 hours today, so I'm going to work 4 hours, right? And this happens, and you guys will see this. where someone's experiment will be running over 4 hours, right? Because it's research, it's unpredictable. So their project will go over 4 hours and like, hey, listen, I'm only supposed to be here for 4 hours today, and my project's still running. Do you mind shutting it off for me and cleaning up and da-da-da-da and like all these things? That's not what the impression you want to make. You want to make the impression that you are a worker bee. You're there to put in work and to be dedicated to the research. And so if you have to go over your allotted time, go over your allotted time. While you're there, be on your hustle, right? Be on your hustle. Doing things, right? Hey, can I help out? Do you need an extra pair of hands? My experiment's running over here. I can clean up for you over here, right? And don't even ask. If you see trash in the lab, start cleaning it up, right? Contribute to the lab. Grab a broom. Bring a work ethic. And if you are bringing that work ethic, you're bringing that attitude, and you're prepared, people are going to give you more opportunities. They're going to like you more. And you're going to have a positive research environment. Does everybody see how that works? Give me a like right now if that makes sense to you about the research mindset. I'm sorry I have to drink water during this because it's been a long day. My asthma's acting up. It's crazy over here. All right. So, next up, right? Have you got enough information in these 20 minutes? Next up is we're going to talk about the last thing. Someone asked another good question. Actually, I think that's all the questions you guys had about research. So while you guys, I did this topic today and it was interesting, and I was sitting down to think about what I was going to talk about today, and I don't want to bore you guys. You guys have other questions, so we'll answer other questions. But I actually took the time and I outlined a how to make the most out of research course, which I'm going to put together sometime in the next week, and hopefully should be available soon. I'm thinking I'll probably do something like $20 for that course, but it'll go into a lot more detail and a lot of different things that you guys don't really care about on a 20-minute YouTube video. But that'll be a cool course coming out, so check that out. The other thing is, real quick, we're going to get to questions right now, guys, but I want to go over this because some of you guys have sent me in the Instagram and on the Facebook post today, you guys had some questions about some different administrative things, so I wanted to make sure I got to that today. Give me 1 second. So how about my Lakers? Who's been watching my Lakers? We're about to ball out. Lakers are back. We are in business. All right, so another question someone asked was about nursing. As a nurse, do I still need research since I have a ton of I have a ton of paid clinical experience, and do I need to shadow? So if you're a nurse, you have no research experience. We just say research is not necessary. However, does it make sense in your mind that clinical experience would compensate for lack of research? Like, does that seem scholarly? It's not the same thing. So in your nursing situation, if you were in some way involved in leadership and in training of other people, that would go into that teaching box, and that would cover up for your scholarly potential, and that would eliminate your need to do research. Furthermore, as a nurse, right, a lot of times you guys are involved in quality improvement projects. If you're involved in a quality improvement project, you can sometimes spin that as a research experience. So that's that. Someone asked about going from nursing to the medical degree. I'll do a separate video on that because that's a more specific topic. Someone did the military video that was recorded, and I know some of you guys have questions about military video. I will do another video about military to answer those questions. So please bundle those military questions up and send them to me because it's not appropriate for this because that's a very specific sect of people who want military questions answered. Someone asked today about the transitioning from community college program that I've been talking about. So if you guys don't know, I've been preparing a program for Stanford that's going to help them. They're going to use an outreach to help students who are transitioning from community college to universities. In addition to preparing it for them, I'm going to be releasing it to you guys, for you guys to use. And so that should be done hopefully in the next couple of weeks as well. So I'm trying to have a lot of courses actually done by the end of July. So there's going to be a lot of new stuff coming up on the website. But this community college course is how to dominate community college and be a successful transfer student. So that course is coming out soon. That's going to be good for you guys. Someone also asked me about, there's one more. What resources they should use to find what schools they should apply to and how they should know that they are a appropriate candidate for that school. Super simple. the MSAR. So if you've never heard that term, you don't have to know what it stands for. Just Google MSAR, and it comes up, and it's a book of all the medical schools, and I think it's actually electronic now for you guys, again, right, because you guys are young people. So the MSAR, that is available to you guys, and that kind of lays out all the schools and things you have to know about them, and average GPAs and mission statements and acceptance statistics. That way you know what you need to know about them. Additionally, for knowing what schools to apply to, if you're competitive, all these types of things, I'm releasing another course. So if you guys remember, I did a webinar that was how to dominate the med school application and personal statement. So I've been debating, but I'm going to be releasing, I'm going to turn that into a course. The webinar was 3.5 hours, but we're going to expand on that even more and make that a full course, and that is also going to be available to you guys on my website very, very soon. So check back for that, and it'll give you like all the information you could ever want to know about really understanding how medical schools perceive you, evaluate you, and that way, once you know how they're going to perceive you and evaluate you, you can cheat the system and give them exactly what they want and more. And that's how you guarantee yourself admission. Does that make sense, right? If you're an expert in the admissions part of it and what they're looking for, you can give them exactly what they want, and then there's no excuse why they would reject you. And I was very confident that I was going to get to medical school because I knew I had all these factors in my mind, so I knew there was no way they were going to reject me because I was perfect in their eyes. Okay? So, all right, let's get to these questions real quick. So thank you guys for all your questions. I appreciate you guys who submitted questions on Instagram and Facebook today. And I hope that I answered all of your guys' questions. For my nurse who asked me about Nurse to MD, I apologize. That will be on another video. So Major UE asked, how much do publications and abstracts matter? Publications and abstracts absolutely matter. I think the big tip I would give people about publications is that a poster presentation is exactly the same as a journal publication, unless your journal publication is in like Nature, right? Otherwise, it's exactly the same. So what you should actually strive for, it's much harder to put together a journal article. What's easier is to do multiple poster presentations. So I would focus on doing multiple poster presentations. The other nice thing about doing poster presentations is it allows you to get out to conferences and meet people that you can network with, and they may be able to give you more information on getting to medical school, and you never know who's a resource to you, but it's a nice way to network. Sorry guys, my finger's all on the way there. Who's having fun on here? Oh, okay. Okay. Can you control how good your research is? Isn't it dependent on your lab you work in and the faculty you're working under? So Major UE, it is actually 100% dependent on your lab, but at the same time, we talked about, right, what's the purpose of your research? It's not to make this groundbreaking discovery. It's to get a nice letter of recommendation. It's to get a poster presentation or publication. It's not hard to do to get a poster presentation. You can present just, we tried, we failed miserably, it was an awful project, and you can have a poster. So that should be your focus, is getting a letter of recommendation, getting a poster presentation, and getting some experience, being able to talk about research and the scientific method and the process, right? Let's see here. So I answered that question about poster presentations and publications. Maher said it's his bedtime, so he's going to watch this tomorrow. All right. Following his study schedule he learned in my 5 Pillars class. I love it. Awesome, Casey. Good to hear about Mo getting that offer from Air Force Academy. Nice, nice, nice. Marcos, hey. Hannah, yes, trial and error. Delsa, I'm sorry you didn't hear this before you went into your program. Yes. So Sharanjit, posters count just like publications. You should try to get a journal article published if it's not too much effort, but posters are awesome. Get more posters. Blaster Chris said, hey doc, I'm a very poor test taker. I have good grades and good MCAT, but my fear is that because I'm a poor speaker, I'm going to do poor in interviews. So Chris, you need to get in my interview course. So I have an interview course and I talk about this. And what if you're a bad interviewer? How do you improve your interview? And what I'll give you is one tip. The best way you can improve your speaking, in public speaking and interview in any kind of fashion, is to be over prepared. So my example is that I get really anxious sometimes in like, pressure situations like that where I feel people are judging me. So what I did for the medical school interview was that I actually took an entire notebook and I wrote out probably, I forget the exact count, but over 500 questions. And some of them were duplicates. They were things I found around the internet. And I wrote out my responses. I wrote essays to every single question imaginable that I could ever be asked. And then I took all those scripts and I boiled them down into bullet points. And that way, when I came my interview day, there was no question that would surprise me. And I had planned answers to everything. So it made me sound more intelligent than I actually probably am. But that's how you overcome worrying about if you're going to sound bad on your interview. And if you guys are concerned about your interview, you should get in my interview course. It's amazing, guys. All my courses are amazing. I don't know. I rave about my courses because they are really that good. Okay. Armani, you are welcome. You are welcome. It. Regina says, how can I ask the head researcher to get more involved with research? I don't want to overstep my boundaries, but I also want to contribute. So, Regina, no one's ever going to slight you for asking for more responsibility. But when you ask for more responsibility, you better make sure that your ass is taking care of your actual assigned responsibilities, because that's annoying. When you're a graduate or a research assistant and you're in a lab and I've assigned you a project and you haven't done your project, right? You have not done your assigned work. Then how the heck are you going to be asking me for more responsibility, right? That's annoying. So don't be that person. Take care of your responsibility, and then go from there. Okay. All right. We'll keep going. Keep rolling. Okay, so social awkwardness, guys. So I cover, believe it or not, I was socially awkward at one point. I still feel like I'm socially awkward, but I hide it better. So check out my interview course. All that stuff's in there. So Jesse and Jeremy Bloomer says, whoop, getting through your pillars course, and I'm planning on following up with the MCAT course. Absolutely, I love it. I love it. Delsa says, what if I can't afford your courses? I'm a broke pre-medical student. We're all broke pre-medical students, but like I said, guys, I'm out here to provide value for students. I'm actually going to UCLA on Friday. I'm actually going back absolutely free, just because I want to get back and more information to these students and help them out. And we're going to talk about really like solidifying our confidence. And I want to give them more value. And so we're going to be doing that on Friday. So since you guys asked, like I said, I have no problem if you guys want to ask for discounts on my courses. I understand that they're expensive for some people, right? But my goal is to make everything affordable. So if you guys want, we can do another discount run on some courses. The only course that I won't be discounting anymore is my 5 Pillars of Studying course, because it's too powerful to be discounted. So you will never get that 5 Pillars course for cheaper than it currently is. So everything else, though, we can work on some stuff. We can talk about it. And so I'll think about it strongly. I'll consider it, and check my social media later on tonight. Maybe there'll be an announcement about some discounts. So check my Instagram tonight. Check my Facebook tonight. We'll see if there's an announcement about some discounts on some courses for you guys. Justin, you are fired from this channel right now. I only support the Celtics. Get out of here. Celtics are garbage. You had to give up half your team for terrible, what's his name from Utah. Ugh, you guys are in trouble. Celtics suck. That's the truth, guys. You want to know the real truth of life? Is Celtics suck. So I'm looking at your guys' question out here. All right, so you guys, so all right, so here's what we're gonna do. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. You guys keep asking for discounts on here today. That's the theme of the day. That you guys want to get this information, but you guys don't have the resources. That's fine. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna make a deal with you guys right now. Email me right now, this moment. I'm gonna end this video in like 10 seconds. I want you guys to email me right now, right? And you guys can email me for the next hour. Everyone who emails me for the next hour, I will offer you discounts on my courses. Email me right now with your name. I want a well thought out paragraph at least statement about why I should give you a discount, why you deserve a discount, and what you're going to do with the information that I give you in the course, okay? And then I want to know what courses you'd like a discount on. And I will send everyone who sends me an email and has sufficient reasoning in there. You don't have to say, oh, because I'm so poor. Just tell you, listen, I can't afford it, but with this information, I feel it will allow me to do blank, 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 blank. You send me an email right now in the next hour, you shall get a discount on some courses. And I'll even discount the 5 Pillars course, but only for the next hour, right? So you must send me an email like right now. So I'm gonna hop off the stream right now and start answering people's emails. So email me right now. My email, if you don't have it, which you should have, is andre@premedproductivity.com. andre@premedproductivity.com. Also, right, if it's easier, you can go to my blog, blog.premedproductivity.com, and you can fill out the contact form on there if that's easier for you. But it's probably easier, just email me, Andre, A-N-D-R-E, @premedproductivity.com. And don't you guys love all the people on here calling me a nigger and all this kind of stuff? I don't get what, like, how people get this, I don't get the, I don't get what the incentive is for doing all this stuff. But hey, this is the world, right? This is the era, the Trump era we live in. Anyway, I'm going to hop off here. You guys send me emails. Guys, like I said, I'm always here to help you guys. I'm not trying to rip anybody off. People who are in my courses, you guys see how they rave about my courses. I'm always providing more and more value to everybody. So I appreciate you guys for being on here. Send me an email. And then as always, tune in. Oh, also, last thing, 2 things. One is, if you guys missed it, Monday we did our very first Med School Motivation Monday. These things are going to be amazing. So every single Monday, you're going to have a new blog post on my blog, blog.premedproductivity.com. These blog posts are going to be inspirational, are going to be motivational, are going to be about the mental aspect of getting to medical school. Every other week, I'll be live on Facebook doing a live lecture about some sort of mindset thing. If you missed Mondays 2 days ago, it's still on my Facebook page. It's the Premed Productivity Expert on Facebook, or @DominatePremed on Facebook. And if you go to this stream, we talked about dealing with difficult parents and parents that are unsupportive. And so that's a great video. That's on there from Monday. So every other Monday, we're live on Facebook. Every single Wednesday, we're here live on YouTube. Come get your questions answered. Come get this great information. And like I said, for you guys who want some courses, want a discount, send me an email right now. We'll hook it up, right? And then pay attention to my social media tonight. And based on you guys' emails, maybe I'll make a general announcement about some discounts for you guys. So I appreciate you guys being here. I even appreciate these people on here who are cursing at me and filling up our stream. Because if people, right, as we talk about, guys, it's not what people say to you, right? It's how you react to it. And if people feel the need to come on here and try to crush me and say negative things about us and what we're doing on here and get bettering ourselves, that means we're doing the right things, guys. That means that we're moving in the right direction and we're doing positive things. And some people, hey, they can't handle that because they live in a dungeon, right? They live in their mom's basement and they will always live there. And so they feel better about themselves by getting on the internet and spouting obscenities at us. So I thank you guys very, very much for being on here. And as always, like this video if you like this. Please share these resources and get them out there to other people. Allow me to help more students. So I appreciate you guys for being on here and being intelligent and not being ignorant like some of the people on here. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. I will see you guys soon. Email me right now. You know it. Later.